Chapter I. Maria's memory from dawn. The sky was bright. The birds sang a melody that only those willing to understand could identify. The flowers spoke and the ground listened. It was like a conversation between the natural and the supernatural. Maria woke up, as usual around her, the noise of machines and the aromatic smell of the hospital. This mixture penetrated all her senses and slowed her heart rate. Lying on her bed, she remembered the darkest moments of her life. As every weekend 2 of her old high school friends visited her since she felt lonely, her classmates knew nothing about it. They thought she lacked nothing. How can we not be happy when we have the most delicious company? Happy. Deep down she wasn't. Farel confiding gnawed at her soul. She did not say a word until the visits were over. The next day the same song repeated itself. Her mouth said nothing but her heart screamed the whole truth. In her head, she reproduced the romantic melodies that her mother sang to her. It was the only thing that could soothe her, because these noises of machines produced a song that she knew by heart, but that made her feel nauseous and reminded her of the darkest moments of her past. Maria is a calm and rather reserved young girl. Orphaned by her father and mother since the age of 7, this young lady with a pained heart, with an angelic face, covered her eyes every night with tons of tears. The wound was so deep that she lived like a shadow among the living. Raised by her odious aunt, she was forced to do work that a child of her age could not do. So fragile were her arms and her weak feet shivered in the rain every night. Several years passed and her situation repeated itself like a symphony orchestrated by the angels of evil. The years passed and Maria became a teenager. Her hands became more and more sweaty. Her feet as hard as a rock, but her beauty always remained the same. Her charm was comparable to that of an angel. Pure and sweet were the words that best represented her. But her eyes were so full of sadness that looking at them you could think that they brought together all the sorrows of the world. Every day she saw her sisters put on their beautiful school uniforms while she herself dressed in her old dress for the work in the field. She was so marginalized that in the region she remained almost invisible. At night, she no longer slept but cried. One weekend at sunset, her aunt sent her to the fields to get some wood. Maria, surprised to be sent to such dark times, refused at first, but her aunt's wickedness took over. Her harsh words like rocks that fell as usual on Maria's ears, forcing her to comply. She left crying. On her way back, the young lady felt something, like a bad feeling, when suddenly she felt a bite. She felt her ankle being pierced by something so sharp and sharp. She had just been bitten by a snake.